Behold, there came up among them another little horn, before whom there were 3 of the first horns plucked up by the roots. And of the 10 horns that were in his head, and of the other which came up, and before whom 3 fell, even of that horn that had eyes, and a mouth that spake very great things, whose look was more stout than his fellows. And the 10 horns out of this kingdom are 10 kings that shall arise, and another shall rise after them, and he shall be diverse from the first, and he shall subdue 3 kings. Daniel chapter 7 verses 8, 20 and 24. Using ordinal English Dramatra, where A equals 1, and increments of 1 up until Z, which equals 26, I have the following calculations. Recep Erdogan, Vladimir Putin, Xi Jinping, plus Duke Harry Charles Albert David equals 666. Using the same combination, but this time plus Duke Henry Charles Albert David also equals 666. Using the same combination, but this time plus King Harry Charles Albert David equals 666. And King Henry Charles Albert David also equals 666. Using the same combination, but this time plus the words 666 equals 666. Using the same combination, but this time plus plucked roots 3 kings equals 666. Using the same combination, but this time plus plucked horns and fallen kings equals 666. Using the same combination, but this time plus plucked horns, presidents equals 666. Using the same combination, but this time plus plucked horns and president equals 666. Using the same combination, but this time plus plucked horn and presidents equals 666. Using the same combination, but this time plus the 3 subdued fallen kings equals 666. Using the same combination, but this time plus 3 plucked horns, crown, equals 666. Using the same combination, but this time plus the Duke of Sussex, crown, equals 666. Using the same combination, but this time plus before whom 3 horns fell, equals 666. There is a unique relationship between the presidents of Turkey, Russia and China and the Prince of Britain, Prince Harry, the Prince of Wales, Prince Harry, whose name is Duke Harry Charles Albert David, whose name is also Duke Henry Charles Albert David, and who will also become King of the world, and therefore whose title is King Harry Charles Albert David and King Henry Charles Albert David. There is a unique relationship between the 3 plucked horns and the little horn in Scripture. There is a unique relationship using Dramatra between the names of Recep Erdogan, Vladimir Putin, and Xi Jinping and Prince Harry. There are a total of 14 calculation combinations that equal 666. For the uninitiated, we have 7 names that belong to Harry that equal 666 using standard Hebrew Dramatra. Using ordinal English Dramatra, there is a total of 12 names that equal 666. There'll be a link below to this chart if you want to have a closer look at that. We also have a total of 236 names that equal or reference the number 666, using 14 different types of Gematria, including 6 English types, 2 Hebrew, 2 Greek, 2 Arabic, and 2 Russian Gematria types. If you'd like to view this chart, there'll be a link in the description box below at this time in the video. Clearly, to have so many calculations, it is evidence that something is going on. But wait, there is more. There are more calculations. Please bear with me as I present further calculations before making a summary as to what it all means. Once again, using ordinal English Gematria. Presidents of Russia, China, Turkey, plus the words 660 and 6 equals 666. Using the same combination, but this time plus the words 600 threescore 6 equals 666. Using the same combination, but this time plus Harry, Charles, Albert, David, Wales equals 666. Using the same combination, but this time plus Henry, Charles, Albert, David, Wales equals 666. Using the same combination, but this time plus RFID, Little Horn, Captain Wales equals 666, where RFID is the acronym for Radio Frequency Identification. Using the same combination, plus RFID, Prince Harry, Chi, Xi, Stigma equals 666, where the letters Chi, Xi, and Stigma are the Greek letters that represent the numbers 600, 60, and 6. Using the same combination, this time plus RFID, Prince Henry, Chi, Xi, Stigma equals 666. Russian, Chinese, Turkish presidents, plus plucked horns, plus Antichrist equals 666. Russian and Chinese and Turkish presidents, plus subdued kings and horns equals 666. Russian, Chinese, and Turkish presidents, plus king horns, little horn equals 666. That is a total of 10 names that equal 666 using the President, Russia, China, Turkey combination. Moving on to some other calculations. Using Latin Gematria or single digit Gematria, where A equals 1 and each letter is incremented by 1 until the number 9 is reached. Thereby the system resets back to 1 for the letter that follows next. President Recep Erdogan, President Vladimir Putin, President Xi Jinping equals 334. Using acrophonic ordinal Hebrew Gematria, the phrase in Hebrew and 3 of the horns equals 334. Let me briefly explain acrophonic ordinal Hebrew Gematria. Every letter in the Hebrew alphabet can be spelt. So Aleph can be spelt with an Aleph, a Lamed, and a Pei. When each of these letters is added together, it comes to 30, which is the value for Aleph. So each letter is then spelt out, and each letter's corresponding ordinal value is then added together to get the result for that letter's acrophonic value. Using the same title as we just did for Latin Gematria, but this time using ordinal Gematria, the value comes to 721. Using acrophonic ordinal Hebrew Gematria, the phrase and 3 of the horns first were plucked out by the roots in Hebrew also equals 721. Using ordinal English Gematria, 3 presidents equals 185. Using both ordinal English Gematria and Latin Gematria, the term little horn totals 185, that being composed of 133 and 52 respectively. Using cardinal ordinal English Gematria, 3 presidents equals 1051. Using standard English Gematria or numerical Gematria, Erdogan, Putin and Jinping also equals 1051. With standard English Gematria or numerical Gematria, the system is as follows. A equals 1 with increments of 1 until double digits are reached, and then increments of 10 until triple digits are reached, and then increments of 100 until the letter Z is reached, which has a value of 800. With cardinal ordinal English Gematria, the spelling of each number is used to generate the letters that are then correspondingly changed to the numerical value or the ordinal value, in this case the ordinal value. Using ordinal English Gematria, 3 plucked horns of equals 223. The same value for Jinping, Putin and Erdogan. Using cardinal standard English Gematria, 3 horns that fell equals 11,965. Also equaling 11,965 is the total of the following 4 Gematria types. Using standard English Gematria, the little horn equals 895. Using ordinal English Gematria, the little horn equals 166. Using cardinal standard English Gematria, the little horn equals 9,943. And using cardinal ordinal English Gematria, the little horn equals 961. 895 plus 166 plus 9,943 plus 961 equals 11,965. The total for 3 horns that fell, using 4 different Gematria types, is 2,124. Also equaling 2,124 is 4 Gematria types using the term the little horn. Let's go through each of them. Using standard English Gematria, 3 horns that fell equals 1,096. Using ordinal English Gematria, 3 horns that fell equals 214. Using Jewish Old English Gematria, 3 horns that fell equals 726. Using Latin Gematria, 3 horns that fell equals 88. 1096 plus 214 plus 726 plus 88 equals 2124. With Jewish Old English Gematria, the numbering system is the same as numerical or standard English Gematria, except that the entries for J, V and W are as per when they entered the alphabet, which was in 1630 AD, and not their current positions. So J has a value of 600, V has a value of 700, and W has a value of 900, with ampersand, the 27th letter, not being counted and would have had a value of 800 if it had have been counted. Using standard English Gematria, the little horn equals 895. Using ordinal English Gematria, the little horn has a value of 166. And using base 6 English Gematria, the little horn equals 996. And using Latin Gematria, the little horn has a value of 67. 895 plus 166 plus 996 plus 67 equals 2124. Using base 6 English Gematria, A has a value of 6, and then each letter is incremented by 6 until the letter Z, which has a value of 156. The higher the number, the more unique the match. And more often a calculation equals a certain number, the more unique the match, such as with 666, or for example with the number 72, as we have seen in a previous video. That previous video will be linked in the description box below at this time interval. Now, this calculation does not involve the presidents, but it does show how one number can connect a number of titles, names, and themes. Let's begin with the first one. Prince Henry, using standard English Gematria, is 1080. Using ordinal English Gematria, Prince Henry is 135. Using base 6 English Gematria, Prince Henry is 810. And using Latin Gematria, Prince Henry is 72. 1080 plus 135 plus 810 plus 72 equals 2097. Moving on to the next one, Little Horn, using standard English Gematria equals 682. Using ordinal English Gematria, it equals 133. Using Jewish Old English Gematria, it equals 432. Using base 6 English Gematria, it equals 798. And using Latin Gematria, it equals 52. 682 plus 133 plus 432 plus 798 plus 52 equals 2097. Invictus Toronto, which is when the first seal was opened. Using standard English Gematria, Invictus Toronto equals 1791. Using ordinal English Gematria, it equals 234. And using Latin Gematria, Invictus Toronto equals 72. 1791 plus 234 plus 72 equals 2097. Antichrist looked to Harry, which is a title that comes from the ELS for Harry in Scripture. ELS stands for equidistant lettering sequence, and Harry is found in one of the letters of John. So Antichrist looked to Harry equals 1989 using standard English Gematria. Using Latin Gematria, it equals 108. 1989 plus 108 equals 2097. Prince Henry of Wales, using standard English Gematria, equals 1782. It equals 216 using ordinal English Gematria, and 99 using Latin Gematria. 1782 plus 216 plus 99 equals 2097. So we have two names of Harry's that equal 2097, those being Prince Henry and Prince Henry of Wales. We then have Little Horn, we have Antichrist looked to Harry, and Invictus Toronto. Invictus Toronto is a interesting inclusion because I believe it infers when the three horns were plucked up by the little horn. But we will progress with that matter as we proceed with more calculations. Using ordinal English Gematria, fallen kings equals 110, and so does president. Using ordinal English Gematria, the term the subdued kings equals 169, and so does Duke of Sussex. Also equaling 169 is uprooted horn. The number 169 is the square of 13. 13 in the Bible represents rebellion. Using cardinal ordinal English Gematria, the title Fallen Kings equals 766, and using Jewish Old English Gematria, the title Prince Harry equals 766 as well. Using standard English Gematria, Fallen Kings equals 308. Using ordinal English Gematria, Fallen Kings equals 110, as previously spoken. And using Jewish Old English Gematria, fallen kings equals 248. If we total these numbers, we get 666. Using ordinal English dramatra, Russian, Chinese, and Turkish presidents, plus Duke Sussex, plus Horn, plus games, equals 666. The S for games could be placed on the horn for horn, and thereby we would have horns and game. The reference to games could be a reference to Invictus Games, or the reference to game could be a reference to the game that the presidents and the Duke of Sussex are in as a competition between themselves. Using Latin dramatra, Russian, Chinese, and Turkish presidents, Duke of Sussex, horn, and games equals 234. The number 234 is synonymous with the number 666. The number 234 has the factors 39 times 6, both of which are in perfect numbers. Not only that, but 234 can be expressed as 6 times 6 times 6 plus 6 plus 6 plus 6. Not only that, but 234 plus its mirror number 432 equals 666. Prince Harry's name, Henry Charles Albert David, and Harry Charles Albert David both equal 234 using ordinal English dramatra. Using cardinal ordinal English dramatra, Russian, Chinese, and Turkish presidents, Duke Sussex, horn, and games equals 4015, and so does, using standard English dramatra, President Xi Jinping, President Vladimir Putin, and President Recep Erdogan. Using standard English dramatra, the little horn equals 895, and using cardinal standard English dramatra, the little horn equals 9,943. If we add these two numbers together, we get 10,838, which is the same total we get for the following calculation. Using standard English dramatra, 5,744 equals Presidents of Turkey, Russia, China, Duke Sussex, Harry, Wales. And using ordinal English dramatra, that same phrase equals 650. And using Jewish Old English dramatra, the same phrase equals 4,444. If we add together 5,744, 650, and 4,444, we get 10,838. Using Jewish Old English dramatra, Vladimir, Xi, Recep, 3 plucked horns equals 2,083, and so does 666, also using Jewish Old English dramatra. Using ordinal English dramatra and the same phrase, Vladimir, Xi, Recep, 3 plucked horns equals 370, which equals the total of the following calculation. Using ordinal English dramatra, 666 equals 275, and using Latin dramatra, 666 equals 95. If we add 275 to 95, we get 370. Using ordinal English dramatra, Vladimir, Xi, Recep, 3 plucked horns, subdued kings, president, equals 616. Also equaling 616 using ordinal English dramatra is Prince Harry, Henry Charles Albert David Mountbatten Windsor. Using ordinal English dramatra, Vladimir, Xi, Recep, 3 uprooted horns, subdued kings that fell, equals 632. also equaling 632, also using ordinal English Gematria, is the following combination: Recep Tayyip Erdogan, Vladimir Vladimirovich Putin, Xi Jinping. Using ordinal English Gematria, 391 equals the 3 subdued kings, 3 fallen kings. Also equaling 391 using ordinal English Gematria is Recep Erdogan, Vladimir Putin, and Xi Jinping. Using Latin Gematria, the 3 subdued kings, 3 fallen kings equals 166. The same value for the little horn using ordinal English Gematria. Using ordinal English Gematria, the 3 subdued kings and 3 fallen kings, plus the English spelling for the Greek words hexakozioi, hexikonta, hex, which is the Greek words for 666. Once again establishing a connection between Prince Harry and the presidents, between the little horn and the plucked horns. Using Latin Gematria, 3 plucked, subdued, fallen horns equals 130. And so does, using the same Gematria system, Prince Harry, the Duke of Sussex, and Prince Henry, the Duke of Sussex. Also using Latin Gematria, a covenant with many United Nations equals 130. Using ordinal English Gematria, before whom 3 kings fell equals 261. The same value for first beast of Revelation, which also equals 261 using ordinal English Gematria. Also equaling 261 are the words 361, also using ordinal English Gematria. Using standard Hebrew Gematria, Prince Harry in Hebrew equals 361. 361 is composed of the factors 19 times 19. 19 is an imperfect number because it is one short of the perfect number 20. Using ordinal English Gematria, 3 plucked horns equals 202, as well as the Duke of Sussex, using ordinal English Gematria, as well as 711 equals 202, using ordinal English Gematria. The number 711 is significant because when we overlap the numerical and ordinal Gematria systems, such that the 6th position, the 15th position, and the 24th position combine to equal 711. Let me explain that in another way. The word fox occupies the 6th, the 15th, and the 24th positions, which correspond to the numbers 6, 15, and 24 using the ordinal Gematria system, and the numbers 6, 60, and 600 using the numerical Gematria system. When all these numbers are added together, they come to 711. This is also true when we combine the ordinal and numerical Gematria systems for the Greek letters chi, xi, and stigma, which are the letters that represent the numbers 600, 60, and 6. Using ordinal English Gematria, Vladimir Putin, Xi Jinping, Recep Erdogan, Prince Harry, the 4 covenants equals 732. Also equaling 732 using base 6 English Gematria are the Greek letters chi, xi, and stigma, which, as previously spoken, represent the numbers 600, 60, and 6. Using the same phrase, but this time using standard English Gematria, the total equals 5070. Also equaling 5070 are the following calculations. Using Standard English Gematria, the three subdued kings are the presidents of Turkey, Russia, and China, equals 4,416. Using that same phrase, but using Ordinal English Gematria, it equals 654. If we add 4,416 to 654, we get 5,070. Using Standard English Gematria, President Recep Erdogan, President Vladimir Putin, and President Xi Jinping equals 4,015. Using the same phrase, but this time using Ordinal English Gematria, it equals 721. And if we use Latin Gematria, the same phrase equals 334. If we add these three numbers together, we get 5,070. I will discuss later the reference to the four covenants, which I believe these four men are in. Using Ordinal English Gematria, presidents of China, Turkey, Russia equals 372. Also equaling 372 is United Nations, covenant with many. Also using Ordinal English Gematria, Russia, China, Turkey, Russia, China, Turkey, Russia, China, Turkey equals 666. Also equaling 666 is Russia, China, Turkey, Erdogan, Jinping, Putin, 711. Using Ordinal English Gematria, three subdued kings, plucked horns, President Russia, China, Turkey equals 670. And using Standard English Gematria, Antichrist also equals 670. Using Ordinal English Gematria, President Recep Tayyip Erdogan, President Vladimir Vladimirovich Putin, President Xi Jinping equals 962. Also equaling 962 is the combination of the following two calculations. Using Standard English Gematria, the little horn equals 895, and using Latin Gematria, the little horn equals 67. If we add 895 to 67, we get 962. Using the same combination we had that equaled 962 in Ordinal English Gematria, if we use that same expression, but this time using Latin Gematria, it equals 440. Also equaling 440 is the term Antichrist using Jewish Old English Gematria. Using the same terms as we did with Ordinal and Latin Gematria previously, equaling 962 and 440 respectively, this time using Cardinal Ordinal English Gematria. President Recep Tayyip Erdogan, President Vladimir Vladimirovich Putin, President Xi Jinping equals 6,057. Also equaling 6,057 is the following combinations. Using Standard English Gematria, United Nations, a covenant with many, equals 3,316. Using Ordinal English Gematria, it equals 373. And using Base 6 English Gematria, it equals 2,238. And using Latin Gematria, it equals 130. If we add these numbers up together, we get 6,057. The following three calculations equal 2,124. Using Base 6 English Gematria, a covenant with many, United Nation equals 2,124. It should be noted that the expression United Nation, singular, was used intentionally by Queen Elizabeth on 3 occasions in her speech at the United Nations General Assembly in 2010. Using Standard English Gematria, the little horn equals 895. It also equals 166, 996, and 67. If we add all these together, we get 2,124. Using Standard English Gematria, 3 horns that fell equals 1,096. Using Ordinal English Gematria, it equals 214. Using Jewish Old English Gematria, it equals 726. and using Latin Gematria it equals 88. If we add all these together, 1096 plus 214 plus 726 plus 88, we get 2124. Using Standard English Gematria, competition, Harry, Recep, G, Vladimir equals 2960. Also equaling 2960 is the following combination. Using Ordinal English Gematria, United Nation, the covenant with many, equals 386. And using Cardinal Ordinal English Gematria, United Nation, the covenant with many, equals 2574. If we add 386 to 2574, we get 2960. Using Cardinal Ordinal English Gematria, Game, Harry, G, Recep, Vladimir equals 1738. Also equaling 1738 is the following combination. Using Standard English Gematria, United Nation equals 938. Using Ordinal English Gematria, it equals 146. And using Jewish Old English Gematria, it equals 598. And using Latin Gematria, it equals 56. If we total these numbers together, we get 1738. Using Ordinal English Gematria, Xi Jinping, Vladimir Putin, Recep Erdogan, Prince Harry, a competition equals 666. Using the same expression, but this time using Latin Gematria, it totals 324. Using base 6 English Gematria, the abbreviation for chi, xi, stigma, which are the letters CHXS, equals 324 as well. On the Bible Hub website, Strong's entry 5516 has the abbreviation for chi, xi, stigma, which is CHXS. Using Ordinal English Gematria, Xi Jinping, Vladimir Putin, Recep Erdogan, Prince Harry, a covenant and game equals 666. The same expression also equals 324 using Latin Gematria. Using Standard English Gematria, Vladimir Putin, Xi Jinping, Recep Erdogan, Prince Harry, 4 covenants equals 4,857. Using Cardinal Standard English Gematria, the same expression equals 37,208. If we add these two numbers together, we get 42,065. The same total for the following combination. Using Standard English Gematria, Recep Tayyip Erdogan, Vladimir Vladimirovich Putin, and Xi Jinping equals 5,159. And using the same expression, but using Cardinal Standard English Gematria, which equals 36,906. If we add these two numbers together, we get 42,065. Equaling 3,957, we have the following two combinations. First of all, using Standard English Gematria, 4 covenants equals 1,325. And using Ordinal English Gematria, it equals 173. And using Jewish Old English Gematria, it equals 1,365. And using base 6 English Gematria, it equals 1,038. And using Latin Gematria, it equals 56. If we add these numbers together, we get 3,957. The second combination is as follows. Using Standard English Gematria, United Nation, the covenant with many, equals 3,428. Using the same expression, but this time using Ordinal English Gematria, it equals 386. And using Latin Gematria, it equals 143. If we add these together, we get 3,957. the same as the total for 4 covenants. Using a different combination of the term 4 covenants, we have the following. Using Standard English Gematria, it equals 1325. Using Ordinal English Gematria, it equals 173. And using Latin Gematria, it equals 56. If we add these together, we get 1554. The same value for Covenant United Nations using Base 6 English Gematria. Using Cardinal Ordinal English Gematria, Vladimir Vladimirovich Putin, Xi Jinping, Recep Tayyip Erdogan, Prince Harry, Covenant equals 5569. And using Cardinal Standard English Gematria, Antichrist equals 5569 as well. Using Ordinal English Gematria, Covenant United Nation equals 240, and so does the Covenant with Many. And using Jewish Old English Gematria, UN equals 240 as well. Using Cardinal Standard English Gematria, UN equals 2486, the same total as the following combination. Using Standard English Gematria, a covenant with many equals 2278, and using Ordinal English Gematria, it equals 208. If we add together 2278 plus 208, we get 2486. The same value it was for UN using Cardinal Standard English Gematria. Using Ordinal English Gematria, Covenant UN equals 129. Also equaling 129 using Latin Gematria is United Nations Covenant with Many. In this series we have a number of totals that correlate the acronym UN with the number in words 361. Beginning with UN using Standard English Gematria, which equals 350, and 35 using Ordinal English Gematria, 240 using Jewish Old English Gematria, 210 using Base 6 English Gematria, 350 using Standard English Gematria Binary, and 8 using Latin Gematria. The total of all these numbers equals 1193. The same total for 361 using Standard English Gematria Binary. Standard English Gematria Binary is a gematria system that was designed by Monty Judah. In this system, the values for W, X, Y, and Z are given a 0 value because there is only 22 letters in the Hebrew alphabet, whereas there is 26 letters in the English alphabet. Using Cardinal Standard English Gematria, UN equals 2486, and using Cardinal Ordinal English Gematria, it equals 245. If we add these two numbers together, we get 2731, which is the same total for the following combination. Using the words 360 and 1 equals 2603 using Standard English Gematria, and using the words 360 and 1 using Latin Gematria, we get a value of 128. If we add these two numbers together, we get 2731. This time using Ordinal English Gematria, the value for UN is 35, and using Cardinal Ordinal English Gematria, it is 245. If we add these together, we get 280. The same value using Ordinal English Gematria for the words 361. The significance, as I have spoken earlier about the number 361, is that is the Gematria for Prince Harry using Standard Hebrew Gematria. It should also be noted, as previously noted, that 361 has the factors 19 times 19, which are both imperfect numbers, and therefore mirror the quality of the number 6, which is one short of the perfect number 7. Using Standard English Gematria, Recep Erdogan, Vladimir Putin, Xi Jinping, UN, United Nation Covenant, equals 4473, and using the same combination, but this time using Ordinal English Gematria, it equals 666. If we add these together, we get 5,139. The same total for the following combination. Using Standard English Gematria, Harry Mountbatten Windsor equals 2,810. And using Ordinal English Gematria, it equals 317. And using Base 6 English Gematria, it equals 1,902. And using Latin Gematria, it equals 110. If we add these numbers together, we get the total 5,139. Using Jewish Old English Gematria, Recep Erdogan, Vladimir Putin, Xi Jinping equals 2,676. The same value for the following combination. Using Antichrist and Standard English Gematria, we get a value of 670. Using Ordinal English Gematria, it is 121. Using Jewish Old English Gematria, it is 440. And using Base 6 English Gematria, it is 726. And using Standard English Gematria Binary, it is 670. And using Latin Gematria, it is 49. If we total all these numbers, we get 2,676. Using Cardinal Ordinal English Gematria, the phrase "the competition" equals 1,023. The same value for the title "The Beast Kingdom." Using Jewish Old English Gematria, the phrase "the competition" equals 569. The same value for Harry, using Jewish Old English Gematria. According to John the Apostle's first epistle, chapter 2, verse 18, there are many antichrists. Let us read. Little children, it is the last time, and as ye have heard that Antichrist shall come, even now are there many antichrists, whereby we know that it is the last time. So the president of Turkey, the president of China, and the president of Russia, all three of these are antichrists. And indeed all three have names that equal or reference the number 666. There are three different spellings for Recep Tayyip Erdogan, two of which produce the result of 666 using Standard Hebrew Gematria. Using Base 6 English Gematria, Recep Erdogan also equals 666. And using Base 6 English Gematria, President Xi Jinping equals 1,332, which has the factors 2 times 666. And using Ordinal English Gematria, Vladimir Vladimirovich Putin equals 313. The same value using Ordinal English Gematria for 666. But it is the little horn that has the most names that equal or reference the number 666. Harry Mountbatten Windsor equals 666, using Standard Hebrew Gematria. Also equaling 666 using Hebrew are the following names. Harry Spencer equals 666. Prince Henry Albert David equals 666. Captain Henry of Wales equals 666. Antichrist Look to Harry equals 666. And Prince Charles of Wales equals 666. And finally, Harry by itself equals 216, which has the factors 6 times 6 times 6. The usage of Prince Charles of Wales, even though that is his father's title, can also be applied to Harry because one of his names is Charles and he is also a Prince of Wales. And as it would so happen, the title that equals 666, Prince Henry Albert David, does not have Charles in it. So it makes sense that there'd be a separate title to include all names. And using Ordinal English Gematria, Prince Harry Henry Charles Albert David Mountbatten Windsor Baron equals 666. as well as Prince Harry, Henry, Charles, Albert, David, Mountbatten, Windsor, snake, as well as Prince Harry, Henry, Charles, Albert, David, Mountbatten, Windsor, lion. And the scripture refers to the devil as a snake and as a lion, so these two terms are relevant, as well as Prince Harry, Henry, Charles, Albert, David, Mountbatten, Windsor, Salem. According to Strong's reference H8004 and G4532, which are the Hebrew and Greek references respectively, the Strong's reference there tells us that Salem is the ancient name for Jerusalem. Also equaling 666 using ordinal English Dramatra are the following titles: King Israel, Harry, Charles, Albert, David, Mountbatten, Windsor, Spencer. Spencer is his mother's maiden name, and there is a precedent in the royal family whereby Prince Philip used his maternal grandparents' surname, Mountbatten, when he became naturalised as a British citizen. So we have King Israel, Henry, Charles, Albert, David, Mountbatten, Windsor, Spencer. King Captain Harry, Charles, Albert, David, Mountbatten, Windsor, Spencer. King Captain Henry, Charles, Albert, David, Mountbatten, Windsor, Spencer. Duke Israel, Harry, Charles, Albert, David, Mountbatten, Windsor, Spencer. And Duke Israel, Henry, Charles, Albert, David, Mountbatten, Windsor, Spencer, as well as Duke Captain Harry, Charles, Albert, David, Mountbatten, Windsor, Spencer, as well as Duke Captain Henry, Charles, Albert, David, Mountbatten, Windsor, Spencer. All these names are either titles. He is a baron, he is a duke, he is an earl, and he is a prince, and he will be king, it is believed, of the world. He is a captain. He was a captain, he is now a major. But captain was his rank at the beginning of Daniel's 70th week, so it is relevant. He became a major days prior to his wedding, and he became an earl, a baron, and a duke on the day of his wedding. And the relevance of the term Israel is that he will be the king of Israel and the Messiah of Israel, the Messiah of the Hebrew people, when he rules and reigns as the Antichrist. So Daniel chapter 9 verse 27 says, "And he shall confirm the covenant with many for 1 week." Have you ever thought about why it is that he has to confirm the covenant? He already has a covenant, but he has to confirm it. It is my belief, and it is my understanding, that the reason why this is that he is in competition with 3 other men. He is in competition as the little horn with the 3 other horns that are plucked up by the roots, and they are the presidents of Turkey, China, and Russia. It is my understanding that the United Nations, or the United Nation, has a covenant with all 4 men, but only 1 man was able to confirm the covenant. Now, the exact details of that covenant I do not know, but it would seem that it has something to do with an RFID device, because that is what Prince Harry was wearing at the Invictus Games Toronto in 2017. And he was wearing a similar device, although it was not an RFID device, it was a smart ring that he was wearing at the Invictus Games Australia. So there is a distinction between what he did at Toronto in 2017 and what he did in Australia in 2018. One device was an RFID bracelet and the other was a sleep tracker ring, which does not have RFID capability. So it is my understanding that the covenant had something to do with promoting or advertising or providing support to the idea of people wearing an RFID device, because that later becomes the mark of the beast. What is now acceptable as wearable technology will at a later date be mandatory and permanent technology. It should be noted that of the 4 horns, each of the 4 beasts from Daniel chapter 7 are represented. In Daniel chapter 7 verse 4, the lion represents Great Britain or the United Kingdom. And Daniel chapter 7 verse 5, the bear represents Russia. And Daniel chapter 7 verse 6, the 4-headed leopard represents Islam. And Daniel chapter 7 verses 7 and 8, the 4th beast represents China. The fourth beast is not entirely Chinese and is a graduation to what we finally see in Revelation chapter 12 and Revelation chapter 13, which are the fifth and sixth beasts respectively. Please refer to the link in the description box below at this time interval for more information in regards to the beast kingdom. It should be noted that in Daniel chapter 7 verse 20, in the King James Version, where it mentions that the little horn is more stout than his fellows, in the Hebrew, the transliteration beside each Hebrew word says this: before which three, and namely horn, this, and eyes which had, and a mouth which spoke pompous words, and whose appearance was greater than his fellows. Our modern understanding of the word stout is someone who is rather fat or of heavy build, someone who is plump, portly, rotund, roly-poly, pot-bellied, round, dumpy, chunky, overweight, fleshy, paunchy, corpulent, are some of the synonyms for the word stout. But in the Hebrew it says, which spoke pompous words and whose appearance was greater than his fellows. The Hebrew word for greater is rav, and it means boastful, captain, chief, great, large, and larger. So it is not stout in the sense of being fat, but it is stout in the sense of being larger or greater in appearance, greater in regards to being more world-renowned. And that is certainly the case when we go to Google Trends and compare how many people did a search for Prince Harry compared to how many people did a search for Recep Erdogan, and how many people did a search for Vladimir Putin, and how many people did a search for Xi Jinping. Prince Harry stands out amongst these four. I would like to also point out that the three uprooted horns that fell and were subdued, the scripture uses those three descriptive terms to describe what happened to the horns. They were plucked up by the roots, or uprooted, they fell, and then it says they were subdued. So this indicates that the kings still exist. It is interesting to note that the beast that we see in Revelation chapter 12, the fifth beast, that it has 7 crowns, and that the beast seen in Revelation chapter 13, the sixth beast, has 10 crowns. Both have 10 horns, both have 7 heads, but it is in the 12th chapter that we see that there are 7 crowns, and in the 13th chapter we see that there are 10 crowns. I believe this reflects the 3 uprooted, fallen and subdued kings. When a king is subdued, he loses his crown. I believe this is reflected in what we see between Revelation chapter 12 and Revelation chapter 13. Those 3 kings that are uprooted from the 4th beast, they are reinserted back into the 5th beast's head, and then it is with the 6th beast that they get their crowns back. So to summarise, I believe that Prince Harry is the little horn, and that the plucked horns are the presidents of Russia, Turkey and China, and that those plucked horns are Vladimir Putin, Recep Erdogan and Xi Jinping. Thank you for coming with me on this journey in studying who the 3 plucked horns are in Daniel chapter 7. If you've made it this far, you've done well. God bless and bye for now.